Good morning, students. It's very nice to see you all early in the morning, so fresh and eager to learn. Before beginning with the class, let's see the thought for the day. And it is, not all storms come to disrupt your life. Some come to clear your path. Yes, and why this thought today? You see many of the people around you nowadays, they talk about the situation that we all are facing, that is COVID-19. Right? And what is it? Most of them are becoming negative. And they talk so much negative about the things, about the situation, that we fail to notice any positivity in this. Like if you compare this today's scenario with the past, the time just before the spread of this pandemic, you see there was a lot of pollution all around. People somewhere had become self-centered, selfish. So what are all these? These are all negativities that was prevailing in the world. But with the spread of this pandemic, which of course is not something very good, but if you try to see a positive side of it, this had brought the people all over the world very close to each other. Right? We have started becoming sympathetic towards others. We've started thinking about other people. We've started thinking about our mother nature, earth. Right? And as due to the lockdown, not all people are allowed to move out of the house, we have stopped or curtailed our use of vehicles, which in turn had given Mother Nature a time to heal. So this storm in the form of pandemic COVID-19, you can say has not come to disrupt you, has not come to destroy the humanity, but it has come to clear our paths of self-centeredness, selfishness, our care towards the nature, which in turn is clearing our path towards better environment, towards better future, where maybe the global warming has reduced a little bit. So every time when there is some negative things, try to find out some positivity in it. And with that note, let's continue with our chapter. Today, we're going to discuss the question and answers of the chapter, The Address. Let's see the first question. "Have you come back?" said the woman. "I thought that no one had come back." Does this statement give some clue about the story? If yes, what it is? So when you are supposed to write the answer to this question, here you are going to express about everything, like how the woman who is so self-centered, that is Mrs. Darling, how she had kept coming to the writer's house again and again and collecting all the things from there and getting it to her home. Right? And then after the war, when the girl goes to her place, she does not even meet her, she does not even greet her, she does not even ask her to come inside. Rather, what does she do? She pretends that she is not known her. She doesn't know her. And when the author tries to tell her Then she remembers, but then she shows her inability to let her meet that day because she says it is inconvenient for me today. Right? And when the author says that I am the only one to come back, this means that the other people are dead. When she knows, when Mrs. Darling, she comes to know that the mother is dead. That is the lady whom she knew, Mrs. S. But then she does not soften herself. She is not showing her grief. She does not show her sorrow. Right? And only thing is, she doesn't want the girl to get inside the house. Why? Because the things which she had brought, thinking that everybody is dead and nobody will come back, she has started using all those things. Right? So here it shows the greediness of the lady, the possessiveness of the lady, and the selfishness of the lady. How she had been showing all these characteristics by not allowing the girl to get into the house. So this is how you are going to include all these things in your answer. Now next, the story is divided into pre-war and post-war times. What hardships do you think the girl underwent during these times? So we had seen before war, when the author used to live somewhere away from her mother in some other cities. And she would come to her mother in between after a long time, and she came to meet her mother. And then she notices how the things have been disappearing from her house. And mother tells her about the address, about the lady, and how she had given all her stuff, all her things to this lady to keep in order to protect, in order to take care of them. And during this wartime, what used to happen, they used to cover their windows with all black paper, black cloth or black paper, you can say. Why? In order that enemies from outside would not be able to see inside the house. They had stopped moving out on the street. They were facing lot of dangers. There was a great threat to the life. So nobody moved out of the house. This is all pre-war, before war, the situation before war. Now after the war, what had happened? After the war, the situations had started coming to normal. Right? The color of the bread has started getting lighter, the writer says. Slowly, people have started leading a normal life. Right? And they have started moving out on the street. Okay? They have started living. The threat to life had come to an end. There was no more danger because the war was over. Now people had started living in their houses carefree, without any fear. So this is what is the separation of pre-war and post-war situations. I hope you all understood. Coming to the next question. Why did the narrator of the story want to forget the address? Here again you will be writing the entire situation, like how the things had been missing from the narrator's house. After that, how the mother told her about the things, about the lady who was carrying away all these things, what was the reason. And mother had also told the address, 46 Marconi Street. And mother wanted that the narrator, the writer should remember this address. Why? Because so that in future she can go to that place and get back the things. Okay. And after that what had happened? The war had got over and things were coming to its normal pace. Life was coming at its normal pace. And then one fine day, all of a sudden, writer grows fond of all those things. She is missing all those things. So she wants to see those things. She wants to touch those things, those belongings which belong to her. right? So she goes to the lady's place. But in the first meeting, the lady does not allow her in. She again gives it a try and she goes it there for the second time. This time there is a girl in the house who allows the narrator to get inside the house. And then the girl is moved to see all the belongings. That is the Hanukkah candle holder. Then she sees the woolen tablecloth, the silvers, the forks, and lot many such things which she is relating to her mother. But now when all these things, she says, are placed in a stranger environment, in a new environment, and even the way of placing the things was also different. So she doesn't like that. She feels that the connection of those things with her mother and with her connection with those things and her mother, that had been severed, that had been cut, had been separated. So she doesn't want to be in that place anymore, right? She feels sick in that place. She doesn't like to see all these things, and then she just wants to leave that place, and she comes out, and after coming out she feels that from today, from this time, I am going to forget about this address. I am going to forget about all those things, right? Why? Because she doesn't want to have any other contact, or she doesn't want to see all those things which she knew, which she had connection with, but now she doesn't have. Why? Because they are placed in a stranger atmosphere. And that is the reason why she decides to forget the address. Because mother is no more there, she says. So even if she gets these things with her, what is she going to do with all those things? Where is she going to keep all those things? Because she is living in a very small house, where there is no ample enough space for her to place all these things. And thus she decides to forget the address. The last question. The address is a story of human predicament that follows war. Comment. So, in this answer, what are you going to write? You are going to write about the war. What is the situation during the war? People lose their life, people lose their properties, and so on. But then there are few self-centered, selfish people also who in this situation, right, in this delicate, miserable situation also try to take advantage of others. They are so greedy, so possessive that they want to grab onto others' things and keep it for themselves. So during the war, when we are supposed to show sympathy towards each other, when we are supposed to take care of each other, when we are supposed to be worried about each other, what do some of the people do? They are only thinking of grabbing away the things, keeping things for themselves. We see, no, this is very common. Even during this condition when we are facing, that is the pandemic, COVID-19, here also people are sometimes showing that selfishness. We've seen how before lockdown people had gone to the market and they were hoarding the things at their place, thinking what will happen tomorrow if I don't get it. But they're not thinking that today if I store so many things along with me in my home, now only when the people, other people, they will not get it. So what will happen with them? So we don't give that thought sometimes. Sometimes we become so self-centered. We only think about ourselves. And this is what the story is all about, human predicament. It is all about the situation that we are facing and how do we try to come out of it. And the writer had very beautifully shown us the difference of behavior again, right? And this is what it shows, the predicament, the human predicament that follows war, the behavior of human being. that comes afterward. We are not sympathetic towards people who have lost their lives, whose family members have lost their lives, but we are only thinking about ourselves. So this is all about the address question and answers. Now in link with this, I want to discuss the question and answers of the Summer of the Beautiful White Horse also in this video, because we had not done it earlier. So let's discuss the question and answers of the Summer of the Beautiful White Horse also. So the first question is, you will probably agree that this story does not have breathless adventure and exciting action. Then what in your opinion makes it interesting? Yes, this is not an adventurous story. We all understand and we all admit it. But what is the story? The story is from the point of view of a 9-year-old child. It is his way of telling us the story, and we all really find it very interesting, isn't it? Yes. So it is his way of narrating the story, wherein in his childish way, right, he is telling us the story, and how he is saying how stealing something for the sake of money is different from stealing something for the sake of liking. This is a child's point of view, which some or the other time you and I might have also done when we were small, very small. People are still small. So how we think that doing wrong for this purpose may be wrong, but that same wrong thing when you do for some other purpose will not be wrong. How he shows his excitement, his liking, his fascination towards the white horse. He had been dreaming for it, and when his dream comes true through his cousin Murad, he feels he is on the top of the world. Right? So even though it is not an adventurous story, but we still find it very interesting. Why? Because it is the way that the boy has narrated. He does not fail even to show the qualities of his tribe. He takes it as a pride to announce that his tribe is the most honest tribe on the world, on the earth, and even though they are facing a lot of trouble and they are facing so many problems, they are facing poverty, still the tribe is known for its honesty. Understood? Next question. Did the boys return the horse because they were conscience-stricken or because they were afraid? Now this question may have different views, right? We all may have different views, but what I feel, it was neither a conscience nor a fear that had led them to return the horse, because they were very small to think about all those things. It was only they had taken away the horse only to enjoy the ride of the horse, isn't it? So in doing so, they did not think whether it is right or wrong. They only, as children, they only thought about their liking. But when they meet the farmer, John Birro, and when the farmer says that he would have really accused them, hold them guilty of stealing his horse if these people, these boys did not belong to the Gregorian tribe. So then they feel the pain that John Birro is suffering, because we had seen how John Birro had gone to Aram's house and he was talking about his horse to his mother and Uncle Khusro, right? So they feel that somewhere the man is troubled, he is sad, he is upset. So they only decide to keep back the horse, right? Had it been consigned or had it been the fear, they would have kept the horse long back. They would not have taken the horse maybe then. So it was neither conscience nor the fear, but It was just a thought that they should give back the horse now, so they returned the horse back. Now the next question. One day back there in the good old days, when I was 9 and the world was full of every imaginable kind of magnificence and life was still a delightful and mysterious dream, the story begins in a mood of nostalgia. Can you narrate some incident from your childhood that might make an interesting story? So this is your personal response question, right? Here you will be responding it personally, that is, you will be giving an incident from your life, if that you feel can relate to this chapter. The next question, the story revolves around characters who belong to a tribe in Armenia. Murad and Aram are members of the Gregorian family. So this again is a question which you need not do it in your notebooks. Fine, so you are going to write the first 2 questions of this lesson in your notebook along with the address question and answers, those 4 question answers in your notebook very neatly using blue and black gel pen, right? That is a must. You all must follow the rules that are given or set in the class. So with this, we complete our 2 chapters from the book. So until and unless we meet in our next video, keep learning, keep experiencing. Bye bye.